Next will be topographic percussion. So we'll start with the height of the apex, height of the lung apex.
Okay, so I should sit down.
Okay, height of the lung apex. Patient, okay, if I'm going to do it on the right hand side, he has to turn to his left hand side and incline upwards. Okay, if you're going to do it on the right, ask the patient to turn left hand side and incline the head upwards. So why? The thing is, see, this is his clavicle. So for the apex, my hand would be here, and I'm going to direct my hand direction would be towards his mastoid process. Okay, his mastoid process here. So I'll be moving towards that direction. So that's the purpose of him turning and inclining his head upwards. Okay, so let's start. Here. Okay, it's here. So what you do is mark this point here and measure from here to here. Normal should be 3 to 4 centimeters. Okay, normal is 3 to 4. This is height of the apex.
I'm gonna measure. Shaki, if you measure from the
From here,
that here is the
Clavicle, is it?
which one?
what to what the name
From the clavicle, to the point of ulnar slit. This is 3 centimeters. Okay. So okay, or you want me to show you another time?
Sure.
Okay, here. Okay, I'll just okay, yeah. Now I'll do it on left hand side. Okay. So if it's the left hand side, same thing. Same thing. Turn and incline upwards. Mastoid process. So you have to go towards the mastoid process. So yes. Remember, you must be in front of the patient. Okay. I'm just showing you, so I'll be here. But on exam, make sure you be right in front of him. Okay. Okay, so from here to here, you measure 3 to 4 centimeters. Okay,
So we do on both sides, okay? Or just one side?
both sides.
You have to do on both sides.
Yeah. Both sides, because you have to compare, okay? So you compare both sides. Okay. Next. Also apex, right? This is the posterior part of the apex. Posterior part of the apex, usually we direct it towards which vertebra?
7.
C7. Where is his C7?
Most prominent one.
Most prominent. This is the one. Okay. This is his C7. So it's here. So we are going to move from here. This is scapula. Okay. Upper border of the scapula. So this is what region?
Suprascapular.
This is which region? The spinatus region. Supraspinatus region. Okay, so from the supraspinatus, we will be just moving from here towards the C7. Okay, from here we move towards C7. So place your hand here in the supraspinatus region. You can see. Okay, then we move. Here. Okay, so from here you measure till the C7. The distance between this point and this point, it must be also 3 to 4 centimeters. Okay. Here. So if it's from here, the same thing. From here, I'm moving towards the C7. So okay. So from here to here. Okay. So you measure this and you measure this. Normal 3 to 4 centimeters. Okay. Next would be his chronic isthmus. Chronic isthmus, the patient has to sit on the chair. should be at the back of the equation. Okay. So, okay. So in chronic isthmus, we usually start from the mid-clavicular line. So you have to start off from mid-clavicular line. What are we going to percuss here is, from the mid-clavicular line, you move downwards. Okay? You move downwards, and when you hear changes of sound or dullness, you mark your point. Then you come back to your mid-clavicular point, and you move upwards. You move upwards. And when there's changes of sound or dullness, you mark your point. And then you measure from this point till this point. Normal should be
6 to
6 to 8 centimeters. Okay, so let's start. So you place your hand here. Here. Then you come back to the mid-clavicular point and you move upwards. So from here to here you have to measure.
Are you percussing on the muscle or
Here.
just below it?
This below this here. Here's the muscle, right? Below.
Oh,
Here.
okay.
See, you can see this. See? So it's here.
Okay.
You're percussing here. Okay? Because your apex of lung is here. Under this part here. So you percuss here. Okay, the same thing. If you're going to do it over this side is the same thing. Place your hand here and here. Then come back to the mid-clavicular point. You move upwards. So from here to here. You percuss. And you have this measure 6 to 8 centimeters. This is chronic isthmus. Okay? Next would be the traverse space.
Shakil, all the other ones, like the height of the apex, or can he be sitting down or must be standing up?
He can sit actually, but if he sits, I mean,
It's
it's
different.
up to you. I think up to your.
So only chronic
needs.
isthmus he sits lah.
Usually chronic isthmus only the patient sits. Others usually he stands. Okay. Next, traverse space. What's traverse space? Where's traverse space? Where's the space? Inside? Here.
Somewhere there.
Here.
lower.
Higher.
Lower.
Under the ribs. Which rib?
Costal arch.
Costal arch. Okay. If it's under the costal arch, if it's a space, right? What are the borders of the space?
Fingers of the stomach, liver,
Liver,
spleen.
spleen. Fluids of stomach is wrong.
Oops. The no.
Greater curvature.
What's above that? Diaphragm.
Lungs.
Oh.
Lung. So the space, okay, the borders of the space will be your lung over here. Your liver, okay, liver, and your spleen over here. Okay, spleen, liver, and your lung. So your traverse space is here. How do we percuss traverse space? Okay, this is the costal arch. Okay, this arch is here. So same thing. Start from mid clavicular line. Place your hand the mid clavicular line. Okay. Now, what are we going to do is, from the mid-clavicular line, you move along the costal arch upwards. Okay? Find the dullness, you mark it. Get back to your mid-clavicular point, and you move downwards along the costal arch. Then, mark the point. Next, from the mid-clavicular point, we are going to move upwards. Okay? And you mark dullness. So, these 3 points is your traverse space. Again, mid-clavicular point. Place your hand at the costal arch here. Okay. So now move upwards. We are moving upwards along the costal arch. mark your point. Get back to your mid-clavicular line. Now you're going to percuss downwards. Move downwards. Mark your point. Get back to your mid-clavicular line here. Now you're moving upwards. Make sure here percuss the ICS, not the ribs. Okay, the percussion of the ICS, because remember here's your rib cage, so follow the ICS. Okay, so let's start. Here. 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 So this point, and this point. So this point is your traverse space. Okay, this point. So what is the another name for traverse space? Semilunar space, because it forms like a semilunar space. Now, when and in which disease your traverse space, there's decrease of traverse space? Yes. Some more? Hepatomegaly. Hepatomegaly, splenomegaly. When these both enlarge, your space will be smaller. Kan? Logic. This liver, spleen. If these both enlarges, so your space will be small. When there will be complete absence of space, completely absence. In which pathology there will be complete absence of this space? Fluid where?
Lungs.
Peritonitis, no. No, peritonitis, yeah.
Hydrothorax. No. Fluid in the
Effusion.
Ah.
In pleural effusion. When there's fluid in the pleura. First your pleura is here, right? Okay. This is your lung, and your pleura covers the lung. So when there's fluid in the pleura extends. Because pleura is just a thin it's a thin membrane. Okay, your pleura. So when there's fluid in it, it can extend. So when it extends down. So when it extends down, and when you percuss, there will be all dullness. The whole thing will be dull because you are percussing on fluid. So there will be all complete dullness. So there will be absence of traverse space. Okay? Next review.
It's okay for us to be sitting down like the way you did just now.
No, actually not. No. Yeah, you stand and do it. Stand and do it. Because it's a bit difficult. But you
You have to stand.
Yeah, you stand and do it. Okay? Next. Lung mobility. Okay? Lung mobility. Lung mobility. How do you do lung mobility? It's the same. Lung mobility also we follow the points. So I'll show you on mid clavicular. Okay? In mid clavicular. How do you do lung mobility? We percuss from the first ICS. We percuss downwards. Okay? Until you reach dullness. Where would be the dullness be? In the sixth rib there. So once in the sixth rib, you stop and ask the patient to inhale. When the patient inhales, as quickly as possible, you percuss downwards. And then mark your point. Get back to your sixth rib and ask the patient to exhale. Once he exhales, as fast as possible, you move upwards. Then you mark your point. So you measure the distance between these two points. What's the normal?
6, 7. I remember 6, 7, 8.
How much?
5.
No, in the ICS you go down
Oh.
to 6.
Level besar.
Normal kan. They ask him to
4 to 6.
Then you focus down.
4 to 6 here. 4 to 6
Very
at
mobile.
the scapular line. Mid clavicular line and scapular line is 4 to 6. But your mid axillary line it is
Disconnect the cord.
6 to 8.
The things.
Bigger. Here, 46, 46, 6 to 8.
Could you repeat?
Yeah. Yeah. Lung mobility means is the how to say the expansion of your lungs during inspiration and when it contracts in during your expiration. So, if you're going to take in your mid clavicular line, the normal lung border is in the 6th rib. Okay. So now, when he inhales, the lung would expand. So that is why you percuss downwards. Okay, you percuss downwards until you hear dullness. Then, once he exhales, the lung goes up again, goes up back to its normal position. Then, from here you percuss upwards. So then the distance between them is what you call as mobility of the lung. How much the lung moves. Okay? Okay. Now let's start. Expire. Okay, expire.
Okay, so
Fast.
so when he expires, right, you go back to the 6th rib
Yes.
there and you go up again.
Yeah. Come back to your 6th rib.
I want to take longer time.
No,
Because
no,
this one,
no,
right,
no,
you
no,
have to
no,
the pen, right?
Yeah, you can mark. Yeah.
So
No, for anything, any percussion, you are allowed to mark. But don't make a very big mark. Just use a small pen, a thin ink pen and just mark lightly. Don't go and take a marker and mark, because other students have to do so. If you mark, there will be so many marks on his body. So just slightly you can mark. Or if you can just,
No, we mark
you
first.
can just
mark
remember.
before we give more hints, and we put extra balls for you.
Shakti doesn't want the 6 and then you start color different.
Go down again.
You see, yeah? Okay.
Can you use the pen this time, please?
Okay.
Can see that. Great.
How much was this one?
No, hold the pen first.
Okay, time.
Okay, yeah? Okay, inspire. Expire. So from here to here you have to measure.
That was fast.
We must teach Kiran how to.
It's 7.5.
Huh?
7.5. But normally it's only 4 to 6, but
How many already, Kiran?
no, maybe maybe my hand,
Yeah, I don't have
there might be
mistakes.
some mistakes.
That day when she did, right, my eye was
Tired.
You were
tired.
tired.
That's
That's
why.
why. Now no more. That's why.
just now when I went home, Ali did nothing. So.
Oh, again that day,
So, okay, so okay, and same thing. Okay, you come down here, ask him to inspire, you move
Move to
onwards.
which space? Until we
Move
find
to
the.
which space until you've heard howls.
And then you go back up there
Come
until
back
you find the
to his sixth space,
Come back
the
to his
cerebral,
sixth,
and you
and
move
then to
upwards.
exhale until we find downwards again.
Yeah, but it won't be so much difference. It will just be somewhere here. Here, you see? The difference is it's not much. It will be somewhere here only. And one more thing, remember, if you're going down, mark upwards, not down, mark up. Here. If you're going upwards here, mark below.
Because it's
Because if you mark up it, then your thing will increase and it's wrong. Okay? So, okay with lung mobility? Okay.
Do on both sides.
No, lung mobility you do one. Okay?
Should tell you which line, right?
Yeah, should tell which line. So next,
But usually they tell you the mid.
usually it's this line, usually they ask you to do this line because it's much more difficult here. Because you have to move down, it's like so.
On each line, there will be standard.
Yeah. No, remember, here is 46 in your mid-clavicular and your the scapular line is 46. If you're going to use your axillary line, it will be 6 to 8.
16.
Okay, for scapular line, right? You start below the.
Scapula. Yes, as usual.
Can you
Below
show?
Sure. Okay. Scapula again. Can you inspire? Expire. Here. Right. So 4 to 6. So around there, yes. Should be 4 to 6.
They'll just see the technique. Right?
Technique, yeah. Just the technique. Okay.
Suddenly you go out and you do this one.
So remember, never percuss on his scapula. Don't go too up, then you might percuss his scapula. So just remember, his scapula is always at this mark. Take
Keep
this mark
this
as his
landmarks.
lower of his
Just
scapula.
start from the
Here, yeah. Okay. Your body is good level. You have all
Lot of
marks to-
surface landmarks already.
you have all landmarks for them. Okay. Okay, Isa.
Yes, sir.
Betul.
Just start from the below the scapula.
Then move downwards, then under, plus to go up. Okay. You have to practice. You must practice. You know, if you just see me doing, you will never learn. You have to practice. Next will be auscultation. So auscultation. So auscultation is the same points as your what is this? Vocal frequency point. So the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you have to compare. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Then ask the patient to turn. Same thing. 1, 1. And here, here. Don't forget, patient has to put the hands up. Okay, don't forget. So here, 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 and slightly in a bit. Okay. And remember, while doing this, ask the patient to inspire. First nose, then mouth. He has to breathe through his nose and mouth also.
Not at the same time.
No. I mean first nose and then mouth. So if you're going to put here, so ask him to go first. Okay, breathe through your nose first. Okay, then listen, use your mouth. Then nose, mouth, nose,
Each
mouth.
time.
Yeah, I mean that's the correct way. You have to hear during breathing of nose, and also he has to use his mouth. Both types of breathing. Okay. And then one more thing I can see. Okay. In asthma patients, okay, those who have bronchial asthma, what type of breathing you hear?
Harsh breathing.
Yeah. What's the term? What do you call it?
Rounds.
Wheezing, yeah, but
Wheezing.
yeah, what's the term? What's the medical term of wheezing?
Rounds.
Ronkai.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you hear ronkai. Okay, patient tells you, oh, I'm having wheezing, but you need to write in your case history as ronkai. Okay, where do you hear ronkai usually? Where? Where do you hear ronkai?
Which phase is it?
No, I mean where? In which part? Where do you hear ronkai?
Upper part.
Ronkai can be anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, ronkai can be heard everywhere. Here, everywhere you can hear a ronkai. Asthma, what? It's a diffuse thing. So anywhere you can hear ronkai. Okay, but remember, crepitations. Where do you hear crepitations usually? And what's the difference between ronkai and crepitation.
Sound.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But what's how do
Crepitation
you
like bubbly,
differentiate?
bubbly a bit, right?
Dry and moist.
Yeah, but how do you differentiate
The
Ronkai?
time it appears, is it?
Time of
Time, yes, some bring inspiration and some bring expression, but the sound difference, there is difference in sound, you know.
very
Ronkai
bubbly,
is what
right?
just now?
Continuous one, is it? Like
Continuous?
crepitation is like
Rough.
It's
It's-
wheezes, right?
it's,
Wheezes you can even hear without without oscillation, you can hear the patient. That's Ronkai. How does crepitation sound? It's like taking a piece of paper and you crumple like it's like cracks. So that usually can be here at the basal part of the mouth. Crepitation